Sidney Poitier was a Bahamian and African-American actor, filmmaker, director, and diplomat. His parents were natives of the Bahamas, which were still under British control at the time of his birth. However, Poitier was born in Miami, Florida, unexpectedly and 3 months premature, while his family was there on business. This automatically granted Poitier U.S. citizenship and would forever tie him and his life's work to African-American culture. Poitier struggled at first in his acting career, partly due to the inherent racism present in the profession, partly because of an inability to sing due to tone deafness. In other words, it was basically a requirement that one be able to sing and dance if you were to have a career as an actor, as a black person in America in the 1950s. And that just wasn't Poitier's skill set. He also had a heavy Bahamian accent due to his living in his parents' native country until the age of 15. Nevertheless, he persevered, and Hollywood began to take notice, as did the rest of America, and eventually, the world. If Poitier's career in the 1950s could be characterized as the struggle, then his career in the 1960s must be characterized as the payoff. It was during this decade that Poitier would appear in films that would forever change cinema in important and meaningful ways. The 1960s is also well known for another world-altering set of events, the Civil Rights Movement. Poitier's success in film paralleled, in many ways, the stacking successes and progress African Americans were experiencing in the Civil Rights Movement. For example, in 1964, Poitier won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in the feature film Lilies of the Field, the first African American man to win the award. He would stand alone in that category until 2001. In July that same year, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was signed into law by sitting President Lyndon B. Johnson, and in October, Martin Luther King Jr. would go on to win the Nobel Peace Prize, the youngest at that time to ever win the award. Another important year for Poitier was 1967, where he would star in 3 films that dealt with race and race relations, albeit in different ways and from different perspectives. To Sir with Love, In the Heat of the Night, which would later be named Best Picture of the Year, and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. In that same year, Thurgood Marshall would go on to be confirmed as the first African-American Supreme Court Justice, and Carl B. Stokes would be elected mayor of Cleveland, Ohio, the first African-American to be elected mayor of a major city. Sidney Poitier's work in film challenged the long-standing notions of what a movie star looked like. Not only was he an Academy Award-winning actor, winning 2 Golden Globes, a British Academy of Film and Television Arts, or BAFTA, award, and a Grammy Award for Best Spoken Album, he was also a filmmaker and director with works such as Uptown Saturday Night and Let's Do It Again to his credit. He also directed the comedy Stir Crazy, which featured comedy legends Gene Wilder and fellow African-American great Richard Pryor. Poitier's presence, skill, grace, professionalism, and box office appeal paved the way for the modern African-American movie stars we know and love today. Some even consider him the Martin Luther King Jr. of the movies. Denzel Washington, the African-American man who would next win the Best Actor Academy Award, had this to say of Poitier. Before Sidney, African-American actors had to take supporting roles in major studio films that were easy to cut out in certain parts of the country. But you couldn't cut Sidney Poitier out of a Sidney Poitier picture.